Hey, Peter.
All right, man. You need video?
Yeah. This way I can.
Okay, stand by. Of course, it's the wrong one. Hang on a second.
I hit it.
Preferences. Audio video. FaceTime 1.
What are you adjusting?
There we go. I have 2 monitors.
Oh, all right. How you doing?
All right. Cool.
Yeah? All right, great.
What are we talking about?
I'd love to talk about a couple of things and kind of formally start and kind of rewind a little bit. I want to talk really about the 2015 book, Zombie Loyalists. That's really awesome. I love that book. Looking forward to your upcoming book, so I'll kind of ask you that in a formal way, and I want to see if we could even tie the two together and then kind of deep dive into kind of the process of rabid fans and that whole bit. So it's kind of rewinding the clock for you a little bit. But given all the customer service issues that have been cropping up lately that you've been interviewed on, it makes sense. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, great. So here today with Peter Shankman. Many of us know him from Helper Reporter HARO, but he is a well-renowned author and speaker, presenter. And Peter, we met originally a few weeks ago at the law firm Media Partners. How do you know them, and do you speak for them often? How do you know that world?
You know, I speak for a lot of companies, I speak for a lot of people. I think that I'm not 100. I think I know. This is why I have an assistant. I'm pretty sure that I was connected to them through someone who was putting it together, and they invited me over. And always happy to do it.
Yeah, that's great. It was a great time. I think you were feeling a little under the weather, so thank you for agreeing.
Yes, I remember. Yeah,
remember that?
Josh Peck is the guy who I know there. He's a good
I know
guy.
Josh.
And I didn't want to cancel on him, so I showed up. I was close to death, but got through it.
Well, you're phenomenal as usual, and I think at that point you agreed to do this Skype interview. So I'm happy that you were able to accommodate with your busy world traveling schedule. So before I actually talk about Zombie Loyalists, your 2015 book, you're coming out with a book in October of 2017 called
Faster Than Normal.
Faster Than Normal, like your podcast. So what is Faster Than Normal about?
Faster Than Normal is a bit of a departure from my usual business books. This is my 5th book, and this one primarily focuses on the concept of ADHD as a gift, not a curse. We are in the midst of a revolution, and not necessarily always a good one, where more kids and adults than ever are being diagnosed with ADHD, and there's a lot of confusion as to what it is, what it's good for. There are in some cases, in a lot of cases, we're putting kids as young as 5 on amphetamines, Ritalin, Adderall, to try to cure them of simply the disease of being 5. And I'm a big believer that I'm not anti-medication, but I'm also a believer that ADHD is very real, and there are, before you throw a 5-year-old on amphetamines, things like exercise, things like what I call elimination of choice. There are ways to turn ADHD, which essentially is just having a brain that moves at warp speed. There are ways of turning that into a much, much better benefit. There are ways of turning that into a benefit that can help you. I mean, I attribute a lot of my success in part to the fact that I have ADHD, and I understand how it works, and I understand how it works for me, specifically how to use it to my advantage. I won't start my day without some form of exercise. Even if that's something as simple as dropping and doing push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks in my bedroom, I have to exercise, and I have to exercise first thing in the morning, or the chemical levels in my brain are off, the dopamine, the serotonin, the adrenaline. I am very much aware about that and about what works, about what doesn't in my world. And before we throw kids on meds, before they're adults on meds, before we say, oh, it's ADHD, it's a bad thing, there are tremendous gifts to it. So I have a podcast called Faster Than Normal, which is really blown up. We've had Tony Robbins, Seth Godin, tons of great people on it. And from there, that led to Random House reaching out and saying, hey, would you want to publish a book on this? So the book is coming out October, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, too. Congratulations. And you've mentioned quite a number of times about exercise, not only helping with your ADHD, but other issues in your life and the transformative nature. While not literally on the topic for today, I commend you for that. It's an inspiration for people like me who need to make exercise a more habit part of our lives. So thank you for spreading that message, because it helps all of us in that sense.
Great.
I remember reading a quote from the book, or maybe it's one of your interviews, and I don't want to get wrong, that 40% of the population has some degree of ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder?
The quote is actually, there's 25%
Yeah.
of the population is believed to have ADHD, but 40% of the population are believed to be undiagnosed in some capacity.
Yeah.
The scary part is close to 45% of all prison inmates have ADHD, have either diagnosed or undiagnosed ADHD. And it's frightening because there are so many ways that ADHD manifests itself. And, you know, if you don't understand what's wrong with you, why are you constantly leaning towards addiction? Why are you constantly, you know, there's so many things. It's no coincidence that I'm a licensed skydiver with almost 500 jumps. It's no coincidence that when I started running, doing a 5K wasn't good enough. I had to do a marathon and then an Ironman triathlon. You know, there are, this is not rocket science here. You know, there are certain things you have to know about yourself, and once you learn about that, it's somewhat easy to understand why you are the way you are, and more importantly, it's very easy to create sort of ways to live that either can benefit or prevent, you know, benefit you with positive things and prevent negative things. One of my favorite examples is I don't drink anymore because I never drank to get drunk, but if there was a drink in front of me, I'd drink it. And open bar internet parties and, you know, .com parties and
Sure.
back in the day, and then the marketing world in which we live, there's always an internet. There's always an open bar party, and it's never that first drink. You know, it's a great line from The West Wing. So what would happen to you if you had one drink? Well, nothing. But the problem is I don't want one drink. I want 10 drinks.
Right.
You know, and I again never did it to get drunk, but my line that I tell people when they say, "Why don't you drink?" is I say, because I have two speeds and only two speeds. I have namaste and I'll cut a bitch, and it's just very easy. It's better to stay on that side. There's a movie War Game, and
namaste.
It is. The computer in the movie War Games learns that the way to prevent nuclear war. The last line of the film, the only winning move is not to play. Better that I don't play.
Fair enough. And I was looking to see that tie-in of rabid fans. If it's that, let's say, 25 to 40% of the population, then by definition, 25 to 40% of our rabid fans have some form of ADD, ADHD.
Yep.
So then, how do we keep those raving fans rabid? How do we keep them focused on spreading the message, which is our marketing game of not only using customer service to create those rabid fans, but help them spread those message when they are so easily distracted and have fast brains, as you call it?
You have to understand that your audience there is a portion of your audience currently looking for new things, new exciting things, content Cheetos, whatever you want to call them, small little bite-sized stuff that excites them, that they enjoy, that they can use there, and, you know, keep getting those out there. But understand your audience. I mean, the best possible thing you do is simply talk to them, ask them how they like to get their information, give them their information the way that they want. You'd be amazed at what they'll tell you if you simply ask them.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing.
So that feedback is essential, and essentially that consultant asking for your watch and telling you what time it is. You can ask your customers and clients, and they'll give you that user-generated content, that type of snackable content. And it's funny that you mentioned this. So you come from the PR world, the public relations world, from HARO and before HARO, and nowadays there's a lot of talk about influencer marketing, which is kind of, you know, asking celebrity endorsements. It's just kind of a new name for that. With you being from the PR world of media, as well as knowing how celebrities influence messages, yet you decided to focus on creating or talking about the process of creating zombie loyalists and that word of mouth, raving fans, rabid fans. Why? How did that come about when you have PR, media background, et cetera?
When I sold Help a Reporter Out, my company, my last company, I spent a bunch of time, about a year after I sold it, trying to figure out why it sold for as much money as it did, because I'm not a business guy. I don't have an MBA, nothing like that. So I didn't understand why it was worth as much as it was, and I was shocked when they made me an offer. You know, it was one of those things where I'm like, well, that's a very interesting offer. And I closed the door. I'm like, oh my God, you know. And so for me, I wanted to figure out why it was worth that. And what I found was that the company who bought it actually interviewed a couple of hundred of our members, of the users of HARO. And what they found out was that almost every customer, every member said, "Oh yeah, I totally feel invested in this company. Peter talks to me. If I have any questions, I just respond to him. He just responds right back." Da, da, da. I was just doing what I thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
The way I was raised. If someone emails you, you email them back. It's rude not to. And turns out, not a lot of people do that. If you look at the concept of any email you get that says we care about your opinion, please tell us how your last whatever was. They all come from, but don't reply to this email or we'll kill you at .com.
Right. No reply at.
I was sending out 1.2 million emails a day by the time I sold HARO, 5 days a week, all double opt-in, from my personal email address, which I still have, peter@shankmin.com. And my basic premise was, if you want to talk to me, just hit reply.
Right.
And they did. When I was running HARO, I spent about 95% of my day answering email, but why wouldn't you do that? Without my members, without my readers, I don't have a business.
Yeah.
Without your customers, you don't have a business. It's having an audience. I speak this a lot. Having an audience is a privilege. It's not a right. It's exactly like wearing spandex. Okay? Not many of us have the right to wear spandex. Okay? If we're training for a race, the day we run that race, we've earned the privilege of wearing spandex for that day. I know, me personally, as soon as the race is over, I'm getting my medal, and some guy comes up to me, sir, please put on this bulky T-shirt. It's kind of gross. I get that. But it's the same thing. You have the privilege. You're not born with the right to have an audience. It's a privilege that you have to earn every single day by respecting your audience. And the more you do that, the more you have the ability to the more they want to listen to you, the more they want to share. But yeah, it has to come down to it has to start off with respecting the audience.
Respecting the audience and those common sense, apple pie, childhood, what our mom taught us.
It's rocket science, dude. Not rocket science.
And the book pivots on kind of that famous acronym now because of the book, BRAINS. And BRAINS stands for?
Bring random amazement into normal situations.
Right, love it. So, which kind of the secret sauce of creating zombie loyalists, kind of the secret sauce of customer service, that random amazement, random acts of amazement. Can you tell us kind of two things? One, how did you bring random amazement into normal situations with HARO and your other companies? What are some examples? Because you shared other examples in the book, and I was actually kind of hoping to kind of peel the onion layer of even your own companies.
I think for me, again, it was really just about always understanding that if you have this audience, if you have this business, if you have this company, you have it's your job to want to talk, to want to talk to them. And so we would do things every 6 months. We'd throw happy hours where we just invite the first 300 people to sign up, and I'd pay for an open bar for the night for them. And it wasn't, just because, right? Anytime I'm in a city, I tweet out, hey guys, I'm in Chicago. I have 3 hours this afternoon. I'll be at this Starbucks. Anyone who wants to hang out, come hang out.
I've noticed.
Hey, I'm in Denver International Airport. I'll be at the United Club for the next 2 hours. If anyone's here and wants to be my guest, just ping me. I'm not doing it to curry favor with anyone. I do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
For the past 3 years, I don't get on an airplane without bringing a 1 pound bag of M&Ms. And I walk onto the plane. I give it to the lead flight attendant. I'm like, hey, you guys have a kind of hard job. Please share this with all your coworkers. And I go sit down. And I'm not doing it to curry favor. I'm a ridiculously frequent flyer. I always get upgraded. Anyway, I don't drink, so I'm not looking for free alcohol. I do it because it makes the flight attendants smile. And in turn, that makes everyone else's flight, for every single passenger's flight, better. Costs $12 a flight. Why wouldn't you do that?
Right. Kind of raises the bar for everyone and raises joy and happiness for everyone, and obviously great customer service and rabid fans. What was the backstory of BRAINS? So, meaning, did you have that acronym first and said, hey, that could talk about zombie loyalty?
I came up with an acronym after 3 hours of trying to figure out what the hell I should use as an acronym, and I'm like, oh my God, zombies eat brains. Brains, this works. Holy shit, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Okay.
Literally jumping around my apartment, telling my cat, look what I did. I was so excited.
Was the cat impressed?
Cat could not have cared less.
Yeah. Well, we are impressed. It's a lot of fun, right, to talk about zombies eat brains, and you're bringing random amazement into normal situations. That's really cool. I appreciate that. Now, you in the book, Zombie Loyalists, you talk about 11 rules about zombie loyalists. I don't know if you remember all 11 off the top of your head, but I like number 5, especially that it says, a thank you has a much longer shelf life than a brag. And how can how can we incorporate that? What do you mean by a thank you has a lot longer shelf life than a brag to brag about ourselves?
No one believes that. No one believes how great you are if you're the one that has to tell them.
Yeah.
If I walk into a bar and I go up to the first woman I see, I go, "You don't know me, but I'm awesome in bed." She's gonna throw a drink right in my face and go back to talking to her best friend. I've done a lot of research, Vikram. That's exactly what she's gonna do. But if I'm just sitting over in the corner playing Words with Friends, right?
Yep.
By the way, my Words with Friends name is Peter Shankman. Bring it. If I'm just sitting there in the corner playing Words with Friends, and her best friend is with her, says, "Oh my God, that's Peter Shankman. You know what? I've heard him speak before. He has a cat. You have a cat. You're both single." Right? At the very least, I'm getting this girl's number because it comes from a trusted source. So a thank you is so much better than a brag because a thank you is real. A thank you comes from people that you trust. The future of the customer economy essentially is going to be this. It's going to be, I don't need to use Yelp or TripAdvisor because I don't need to know things from people I don't know. When I start typing in flights to Fiji because I want to go on vacation, what's going to show up is all my friends who've gone to Fiji and the stuff they've shared on Instagram or on Facebook or on Google automatically, right? And say, hey, your friend Vikram went to Fiji last month. He seemed to have a really good time. He tweeted out that he loved his airline. That's a positive sentiment. Would you like to see what flights he was on, right? Or if you have a bad flight, I'm never going to see it. It's only even the positive stuff. When I land in California and I look at Google Maps and says, show me a steakhouse near my hotel, Google Maps shows me steakhouse near my hotel, but above that shows me where my friends have gone.
Yeah.
Right? That's, why wouldn't I trust that?
Yeah, we call that social proof nowadays. It's kind of a new term for that.
Bingo.
And it's one of the more, I guess, controversial or I hate to say outlandish predictions that review sites like TripAdvisor or Yelp, as you just mentioned, will actually become irrelevant and moot and obsolete because
that's my belief,
of the new network of kind of that Black Mirror new network of predicting and knowing who we are and what we are. And how will that work, do you imagine, when it comes to people just raving and being rabid fans? Is it people just sharing their experiences? Just because I went to a restaurant doesn't mean I loved it. And if I tweet about
here's
it,
the thing.
then
Here's the thing. If you share it, obviously I know. If you don't share it and you only go once, well, come on, show me one person who doesn't have a credit card hooked up to Facebook or Google. Right. So if I go to that restaurant once, well, Google knows where my phone is, Apple knows where my phone is, Facebook knows where my phone is. One of those things has my credit card match. Okay, he sat there for 2 hours. He said, here's his tip. This is 10% lower than normal. That's interesting. Or he went to this restaurant, stayed for 5 minutes, didn't use his credit card, then left and went down the street to another one. That tells you something.
Sure. So I guess even tip amount could be tracked, and now we're a rabid fan of Mary the waitress, John the waiter, and that could even be tracked to the personhood.
And the interesting thing is, it's not about people. It's not about giving up privacy. We lost privacy 30 years ago. Privacy's dead. What it is privacy, or the lack thereof, really only bothers people until they realize that it benefits them. Right? The second that moms and dads realize that A, they could track their kids on Facebook, and B, they could get a lower mortgage rate if they were shown ads on Facebook, they immediately had no problem with Facebook.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So, 20 years ago, we were afraid to put our credit card in online. So, things change.
Yeah, things are changing now, and as you say, I'm not too worried about the future as long as we're using that common sense as companies and consumers, and we could show our rabid fandom in a variety of ways. And you bring up that other point. So, if privacy is going away, and sites like Yelp and TripAdvisor may become obsolete in the near future or in the future, there are companies now, instead of using, let's say, great customer service and bringing amazement into everyday situations, will bring random amazement into normal situations. They're using incentives. Get a free margarita if you like us on Facebook, or other type 10% off if you share it on Twitter. How do you feel about that?
The problem with incentives and the problem with contests and things like that is they don't necessarily bring in fans who turn rabid. They bring in people looking for free shit.
Basically.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Because they're not going to stay anywhere near as much as the customer who you've wowed and who has a reason to come back.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, the majority of what you can do from a customer service perspective doesn't cost money. It's not that expensive. A damn smile doesn't cost money. Morton's Steakhouse puts if it's your birthday or you celebrate anything, they put a happy birthday whatever on top of the menu. When you walk in, it's on your table. That doesn't cost them anything, right?
Yeah.
But you Instagram the crap out of that photo.
Right. Because personalized, you feel special, and they made you feel special, and you want to brag about feeling special, and thus you're bragging about Morton's or what have you. That's great. I appreciate that. You used a lot of examples in the book, and I've heard a couple of those examples in your other seminars and presentations. Anything new that you're a rabid fan of that you haven't shared? Like I use Follow Up Then nowadays because of you, so that's kind of a viral effect right there. Anything new that we should know about that's in your world, personal, professional, that you're a rabid fan of?
Who am I loving recently? Full disclosure, I'm what's called a key opinion leader for them, but the Huawei P10 Android phone is unbelievably awesome.
All right,
It has a
cool.
better camera than I've ever seen of any phone out there on the market. What else do I love?
Did you go to their unveiling? Is that what I was following you on Twitter, right?
I was in Asia for their analyst conference, yeah.
Okay, analyst conference, okay.
What else do I love?
This might be the toughest question.
I'm a fan of New York. Seriously, right? I'm a fan of New York Health and Racquet Club. I have been for over a year since it's like my second home, and they don't treat me weird because I come in at 5:30 in the morning and air drum as I'm on the bike. I'm a huge fan of Specialized bikes.
Cool.
Any company that treats their customers well, and again, I don't even need well, just good.
Yeah.
Right, one level above crap, as I say.
One level above crap. It's a good way of kind of concluding today. Kind of final word about ShankMinds. Can you tell us a little bit about ShankMinds? I think things are coming up in 2017 that are big for ShankMinds.
ShankMinds is pretty awesome. It's an online mastermind of about 150 entrepreneurs from all around the world. We are growing spectacularly. It's a lot of fun. We have a live event in New York City on June 7th, a full day brainstorm mastermind with like 3 keynote speakers. It's lunch, food, and networking, and it's a huge day. And I know how much these conferences and networking groups cost, and I vowed to never charge that much. So mine is actually like $6.99 for the day and $79 a month for the membership.
Great.
And it's at shankminds.com, and the event is shankminds.com/NYC. It's going to be a pretty awesome day.
Looking forward to learning more about that and sharing that with everyone through this video. So thank you for taking about 20 minutes for this interview. Thanks, Peter.
My pleasure, Vikram. Always good to talk to you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I'd love to do it again. This was a great conversation. Thanks for
anytime, brother.
taking the time. All right, thanks a lot, Peter.
Talk
All right,
soon.
I'll leave you to it.
Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.